Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the session on secure agent development with Sandboxes. My name is Rohit Mehta, and I'm a Senior Director of Product Management here at Salesforce. Joining me today is my peer, Joe Trudinich, who's the Director of Software Engineering. I'm sure you've seen the slide many times over the course of the day and before, but just a quick reminder to make your purchasing decisions based on generally available products and services. Now, just thinking about where we are in the world of software development today, right? In the past, as software was built, it was traditionally built using some sort of a graphical user interface, leveraging some fixed logic that was painstakingly built by some software engineer that pulled data from some relational database. Now, fast forward to where software development is going in the future, and there's a big inflection point in which software is built and how it is being used. There's a shift from that graphical user interface to a more conversational interface where, along with that fixed logic, it's complemented by LLMs who can guess the intent behind the question and can give more dynamic responses. There's also a more goals-based agent evolving in this world of LLMs, as well as for the first time with the advent of data lake and lakehouse architecture, we finally have a unified data layer of both structured and unstructured data. Now, as you think about building applications in this new world, the one thing that stays common is the same application lifecycle management process that you're familiar with. Here at Salesforce, we define it as a 5-step process, from planning to creating to testing, releasing, and observing changes into your production org. And we have a bunch of tools for each step of this application lifecycle management process. We have environments where you can safely build changes. We have code editors and builders. We have tools like the CLI and DevOps Center to move changes from one stage of their pipeline to the next. We have tools like event monitoring, so you can observe those changes in production, as well as tools like scale tests, so you can monitor and you can test your applications at high scale. Now, we'll go through some of these tools in more depth today. And so to do so, I'm going to call upon Joe Trudinich.
Thank you, Rohit. Now, here at Salesforce, Sandboxes are our solution for secure change management and should be a vital part of your ALM process. With just a few clicks, you can create anywhere from a copy of your entire production org to just the metadata if you choose, and you'll have yourself a safe and isolated space to configure and test all of your changes. Now, if you're not testing in Sandboxes, you're probably testing in production, which is a little dangerous, of course, because any breaking change could disrupt a critical business process that's already live for you. Now, I'd be lying if I told you I've never tested anything in production, but the beauty of being on Salesforce is you don't have to. Please don't do this. It hurts my heart. Our goal with everything we build on the Sandbox team is to provide you with all of the tools you need to enable you from everything you're doing, whether it's testing a new integration or configuring an add-on like CPQ, or even training users on a new automated process. We want you to do this in a safe and isolated environment. This knowledge is probably pretty well baked for many of you, but just kind of a quick review. There's 4 types of sandboxes: Developer, Developer Pro, Partial, and Full, which are all optimized for different steps of the ALM process. As an example, Developer and Developer Pro sandboxes contain only the metadata of your production org and are really suitable for admins and developers to build changes. Partials and fulls, on the other hand, not only contain a copy of your metadata, but also your entire production data in the case of fulls. And so these are more suitable for things like integration testing, code merges, and user acceptance testing. So now that you know a little bit about what sandboxes are used for, I'm going to take you on a bit of a tour of some of the recent enhancements that we made and get into secure agent development. Before we get to that agent development, let's talk a little bit about security. One new feature that was released in the Spring 24 release is called Selective Sandbox Access. Traditionally, in sandbox environments, every user in the source org would have access in any resulting sandbox created from it, but this isn't always ideal. people can come and go, or they switch teams, and we can really beef up security of our sandboxes by being a bit more explicit about who has access. Aside from the security benefits here with selective access, there's no need to append that .invalid to everyone's email address, which will save admins a bunch of time. And also, there's just less data to copy over, so those sandboxes will be ready for you faster, also reducing the storage footprint a bit, so it's really a win-win for everybody. Using this feature is pretty straightforward. You just create a public group with the set of users that you want to have access in the resulting sandbox, and then you select that public group right in a drop-down from the sandbox creation page. It's important to note that as of today, this feature is required for your developer and your developer pro sandboxes, though it does remain optional for your partials and fulls. All right, let's move on to the topic that everybody is talking about these days and weeks and months and years, which is AI and agents and how they can transform your business. When I first heard that we were going to be providing a tool for just about everybody to build AI agents, I was a little skeptical. This must be complicated, right, to build AI agents to autonomously do all sorts of stuff. Not at Salesforce. Like everything else on the Salesforce platform, Agent Builder allows you to build and configure agents using low code. With just clicks and a few instructions to specify what your agents should and shouldn't process, you're going to be up and running. You'll select a knowledge base for your agents to act on, and then you'll enable those agents to work autonomously with things called agent actions. And don't get concerned about what these agent actions are either. They're nothing more than the building blocks you're already very familiar with, like flows, APIs, prompt templates. I can't really talk about building AI agents without also talking about data, so let's transition a bit to talk about some data. One pain point, I should say, that has existed in sandboxes for a long time is the amount of time that all of you spend to ensure that your sandboxes contain just the right amount of and type of data to suit your testing needs. Traditionally, those full copy sandboxes, as an example, contain everything in your production org. This complicates things a bit because some of that data may very well be sensitive, and we don't want everybody necessarily to have access to that data, all those contractors and developers that have access to your sandboxes. And so Data Mask is a product that will help you to remain compliant by helping you to delete or transform some of that sensitive data, and also address regulatory concerns around PII and other private data, ensuring that everybody has access to only the type of data that they need to see. Data Mask comes with a wide variety of masking options, so it really puts you in charge of exactly what data ultimately lands in your sandboxes. For development use cases, we often just need a small set of sample data in the resulting sandbox. So copying over everything from those full sandboxes is a bit much. This is where data seeding comes in. Data seeding will load your sandboxes with a representative set of data from your production org, already anonymized for you. So it really helps to streamline those testing cycles and remove a bunch of that manual labor that goes into setting up sandboxes. Data Cloud. What did I want to say about Data Cloud? So we've talked about AI agents really only being as useful as the set of data that we are allowing them to operate on. In the Salesforce ecosystem, in a lot of cases, your best bet here is going to be all of the data that's already ingested into Data Cloud. Data Cloud provides a 360-degree view of your customers by seamlessly integrating structured and unstructured data, data warehouses or data lakes, warehouses, and your CRM data all into one place. And up until recently, though, Data Cloud was not available in sandboxes. And if you've read the slide, my thunder has kind of already been stolen here, because I'm here to tell you that Data Cloud capabilities are now available within your sandbox environments. So now when you're configuring when you're configuring a new data model or testing new data cloud triggered flows, as an example, you can do all of this in your sandboxes without compromising the stability of your production environments. So Rohit mentioned at the beginning of the talk that we are going through this transformation right now about the way that we are building and testing software. One example of this is the non-deterministic nature of these AI agents are really making us come up with new strategies for how to test things. So also GA and available now, we have Agentforce Testing Center, which enables teams to use Agentforce, or to test Agentforce using synthetically generated data. With Agentforce Testing Center, you can generate tons of test cases using natural language instructions. You can run hundreds of those cases in parallel. And all of this is provided, you get great monitoring of usage and feedback of what's being tested, so you can use that test data to iterate on your instruction set and really ensure that the appropriate topics are being selected for all of the prompts that are going in. All right, so I'm going to pass it back over to Rohit to demo some of these things, and then I'll close with a few more.
Thanks, Joe. All right, so let's bring some of these tools to life with the demo. For this demo, I'm going to walk you through some of the tools we talked about. So sandboxes, data mask, and data seed. All right, what we have here is an experience site for a mock company called Cirrus. Now, Cirrus uses Agentforce Service Agent to handle all kinds of support inquiries on their website. So you can ask questions like, give me details about my warranty. And the agent is intelligent enough to know that this question requires identification and will come back with a question back to me saying, what is your email address? Once I provided the email address, it digs in the warranty information, brings it back to me with the response. Now, I'm going to throw another question at it saying, I need to transfer my warranty. The agent has not been programmed for this, so unfortunately, the agent cannot respond to this question. All right, why don't we go ahead and build this extra muscle for this agent so that in the future, it can handle this question? Now, where should I do this change? Production org? Absolutely not. We're going to go to a sandbox environment because that's where all of our application lifecycle management begins. ALM is where all changes, big and small, they all start from a sandbox environment because that's where that is the safe place to make changes in isolation without disrupting the production org. Joe mentioned there are 4 types of sandboxes: developer, developer pro, partial, and full for all of the different stages of the ALM journey. For our process today, for our example, we're going to use the dev sandbox because all we need is just the metadata. Before we get ahead to enhancing the agent, we're going to take a look at all of the data streams that got copied over from the production org using that new data cloud and sandbox feature. Now, this is important because agents rely on data cloud for all of their knowledge base, and that's also where they put in all of their audit information. I'm going to jump into our low-code builder, agent builder. I'm going to open up my agent, and I can explore all of the topics that this agent has been built with. Things like account management, case management, delivery issues, and more. Agent Builder also has this right-hand side panel called the conversation preview, where I can look at a preview of the responses that the agent is going to build, that the agent's going to give me as I build my agent. I'm going to add a new action under the warranty topic because that's what we want to do. We want to transfer the warranty. For today's action, I'm going to use an existing one from my asset library. I already have a flow for initiating a warranty transfer that I'm going to just bring over into my agent. Once I do that, the next step is updating the instructions so that my agent knows when to use this action. Switching over to the topic configuration, you can see that all the instructions listed below are in simple, plain English. No fancy code or logic required here. I'll add a new instruction for the scenario that we want to handle around warranty transfer and save it, and then jump back into the conversation preview to put this into test. I'll go through the same flow that I went with previously. I'll ask it for the warranty details, provided the email address, and now I'll ask the question, can you please transfer my warranty? Now notice at this point, the agent had choked in the past. But now, given the instructions and given the new action, it's going to go ahead and ask me back, what email do I want to transfer this warranty to? Notice in the middle panel how it's selecting the right topic, it's reasoning through the question, and it's picking up the right agent response for transferring the warranty. Finally, once I've done it, the flow is initiated, the warranty is transferred, and I'm good to go. Next step is testing the agent. This is done in Testing Center. I mentioned that agents are non-deterministic in nature, which means that you want to test agents at scale. With Testing Center, you can synthetically generate hundreds of utterances or the types of questions people ask so that you're ensuring that the right topics, the right instruction, and the right actions are being invoked. For this example, I've uploaded a CSV of tests, but coming soon is the ability to generate hundreds of test cases at scale. Now, along with writing tests, one pain point that developers often have is seeding sandboxes with a small sample of test data. With Salesforce's acquisition of Own, we now have a robust data seeding product that can be used to copy over data from production to sandboxes or between two sandbox environments. In the seeding interface, I can create a new template, provided a name, provided a source of the data that I want to copy over, and then go ahead with customizing the template to selecting the objects and records that I want to seed my sandboxes with. For this example, I'm going to select the account object. And then I'm going to drill deeper and also specify exactly the type of account records that I want in my sandbox. I'm going to put a filter for the account type and only select the prospects, and then save this. After that, I'm going to select all of the children records that I want to bring along with the account records. So your typical case, contact, opportunity, and quote. The tool is going to maintain all of those relationships between account and all of these children records by default. After this, I can either save this template, or I can use it to seed a sandbox. And all I have to do is pick the target sandbox and hit the seed operation. Finally, let's take a look at the data mask tool. Data mask lets you take care and lets you desensitize any of the sensitive information that you may have brought along with your data seeding or your partial or full sandboxes. Things such as email addresses, telephone numbers, social security numbers, all of those can be masked so that they don't appear for any of your developers and contractors that shouldn't have access to them. You can create a template, select the account, select the objects and all of the fields that contain those sensitive records, and choose to either replace the data from a data library, either delete the data, or replace it with some random characters. Now, one of the new enhancements we have built in Data Mask is the ability to create custom libraries, where you can create custom data sets that are most relevant to your testers. So you can upload the right number, the types of names that your developers and testers would be most familiar with, or even values in different languages if your development team is spread across the globe. With this new data mask process built in core, the process is now 10 times as fast as the older one. So huge improvements to performance as well. All right, that's with the demo. I'm going to hand it back to Joe to go through a couple more tools.
Lightning round here. Another challenge that has traditionally existed for many people is preparing for that peak load. Imagine you're a retail customer trying to prepare for Black Friday. Traditionally, in traditional sandbox environments, this has been a challenge because when you hammer your app with heavy traffic, we hit you with throttle limits. To solve this problem, we have built ScaleTest. ScaleTest is a full-service platform that acts as an add-on to your full copy sandboxes in Hyperforce. And with ScaleTest, you can temporarily schedule a time to scale up your sandbox to match the compute resources of production, and will also remove the throttle limits for you, which will allow you to hit your app, hammer it with as much traffic as you need to simulate that peak load on day. All right, so we have set up our sandboxes, we've seeded them with the right data, we've built our AI agents, we've done all of this at scale, and we're ready to release. DevOps Center is our low-code change and release management tool that is used to manage the promotion of your releases from one environment to the next in your release pipeline. A little bit of a lightning round here, but we're running out of time, so back to you, Rohit.
Thanks, Joe. All right, so thank you for being patient here with us and for listening to our talk. If you want to have more information, if you want to check out the same demo at your own pace, please visit our booth for Sandboxes plus Data Mask and Seed. We also have a new guide available online that talks about DevSecOps on Salesforce and covers some of the tools we discussed today. So please scan that QR code. And then last but not the least, please give us your feedback on how we did today. This helps us improve and provide higher quality sessions in the future. So thank you so much for attending. I hope you have a good rest of your trail at DX.